What makes Australian architectural styles special? Australia is an amazing laid-back country that has diverse culture and wildlife, stunning nature, and many more. This also includes the various architectural styles that have made the housing sector stand out. Normally, architectural designs are like fashion trends that become famous and then fade away after some time. But there are still some designs that stay for as long as possible. Designers like Errol Kwong have designed houses that are still in vogue years later. Errol Kwong is an architectural professional who started as a Greenbrier construction intern while in high school. He learned how to estimate the cost of materials, examine material load capacity, and many more. Then he proceeded to study architecture at a prestigious university and came out with flying colors. What influences Australian architectural designs? Climate plays a big role in the type of houses built in Australia. The climate in Australia is different from the one in the UK, therefore, it stands to reason that the construction style will be different to suit the climatic condition. Both countries have to adapt their building styles to make them suitable for all seasons and weather. Climate also affects the kind of building materials to use. In the past, builders found it hard to obtain certain building materials during a specific period. The same problem exists now, but innovators are providing solutions to these problems. These solutions are targeted towards solving the negative impact climate change has caused. Foreign culture. Australian architecture has been influenced by the existence of other cultures in the country. Examples are America. In Australia, you have American style housing that resembles New York architectural designs. Besides, these New York styled houses are also influenced by Spanish architecture. Such houses in Australia have Palm Springs and Hamptons designs, to name a few. They are characterized by arches, stoneworks, white walls, affluent decorations, and so on. History of architecture in Australia. Australia was home to European settlers back in those days, says Errol Kwong, a Melbourne designer. But before they came, the indigenous people of Australia were living there. They had their own community of people, traditions, food, cultures, and architectural designs. In those days, the designs were creative and diverse. Furthermore, these old designs have influenced contemporary architecture. European acceptance. Even though indigenous architectural designs were not widely acknowledged back then, they became popular later on. However, its popularity was greatly reduced due to the Europeans that settled there. Nevertheless, some Europeans acknowledge how important Aboriginal architectural styles and construction designs are to the country. This especially includes stone buildings and houses built together in settlements that resemble villages. British influence on Australian architecture. British settlers settled in Australia and influenced some of the Australian cultures and traditions. This is why you can still see some European-styled houses from the old days today. When Europeans migrated to Australia, they started building their houses according to British styles. They modeled their houses like those houses in England. Afterward, Georgian building styles came into being in Australia. Gothic styles. Then in the 19th century, Gothic revival designs for building churches were introduced in Australia. In the last 19th century later came cottage-like houses. Architect Errol Kwong, living in Australia, confirmed that these buildings were developed for workers in Australia. To this day, you can see insurance buildings, schools, banks, and so on have old designs and decorations. Different housing styles. You can find in Australia. As diverse as Australia is, it has passed through many stages of civilization in the past. Traces of this